Hi there, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Welcome if you're currently here in the live premiere today. We're beginning the research, analysis, whatever you want to call it, on Kevin J. Bibbins. Obviously, recent time, him getting in trouble and arrested once again. But this time around, we're looking back at his past criminal history. Now, this is going to be done like part 1, part 2, part 3, and however long we need to go on for. You might wonder, well, why are we spacing it out so much? So you get a better understanding of what Bibbins did over time and how bad he really is, arguably worse than James Brenner. You might be able to put it into perspective when it comes to applying Bibbins to the Dylan Rounds case. Now, take in mind, map analysis, there is something, a video that can be made on Bibbins, but that's a future one, okay? So just be on the lookout for that in the future because I can do that one and I've got an idea of how to do it. So I just wanted to point that out. There will be a map analysis with Bibbins in the future, but right now we're looking at Bibbins' criminal past history, spread out, spaced out, part 1, part 2. You know, today's video can be an overview or like a brief look at what he's got up to and the odd official court document which we can read out, right? There's other court documents to read through, but they're very long. There's a lot of text, a lot of words, right? As you know. I attempted that once in the past. I don't know, it must have been for Dylan Round's case. If not, it would have to have been maybe, was it Idaho 4? I wonder. Does anyone remember? Well, you probably wouldn't remember because I didn't show the video to you, but I did describe it. I think it was the Idaho 4 case, and there was some court documents, and it was about 99 pages. That was a big mistake. 15 minutes in, just reading through repetitive, language, I thought, oh my God, screw me. If the Zav girl was there reading through those 99 pages, I mean, I guess from the moment of hitting record, it would have been, whoa, what's going on? Those pretty colors. Well, I'm really confused. Does anyone really know? Yeah. So I'm sure people will probably think, what the hell's that about? But it would probably make some sense to some people. Anyway, I mean, when it comes to court documents and papers, it's probably best to skim through parts and read out the important bits. But because I don't normally do it, I was reading it word for word, and big mistake there. I don't think it's as bad this time round with this case because the way it's worded in the text. But as a heads up, when I do get round to looking at the other documents and papers to do with Bibbins, I might try and read it all out. But if there's parts where it seems very unrelated or not really applied to the actual charges, then I'll probably just skip over it. Of course, you can always pause the video, right, or rewind it back. I just don't want things to drag out too much, right? I mean, like last night's video, I was able to make that a bit more concise. It was more experimental, that, and trying to return back to what I used to do. So I'm going to take that into consideration. But I think with the Dylan Rounds case, the certain format that works is a decent length, meaning people that are currently watching can share their thoughts and opinions. So feel free to share your thoughts and opinions in the live chat, okay? Let me know what you think, and you can leave comments down below too if you've got any questions or so. We don't actually have to look at any comments from beforehand because there really isn't any, okay? Last few Dylan Rounds videos, there's hardly been any comments, so we don't really need to do anything there. But if you got comments now, you can leave them. As well, in the comment section, there will be pinned comments, so some additional links, you should check them out. Top right corner of the screen, I symbol, click on that, you'll be able to find videos you may have not watched beforehand, right? Did a very important and interesting and creepy video last night. Be sure to catch up on that to do with a different case and mystery. So, yeah, I just want to space it all out, okay, and explain it to you. We've done something like this with Brenner over time when we look back at his past criminal history, and maybe it was clearly more documented there because it was an overview, right? Whereas this time around with Bibbins, it's separate stuff, okay? Separate times, separate years spaced out from one another. So that's why we're looking at it bit by bit. And I think maybe in the titles of my videos, I'll probably even give the year, okay, to the actual thing that happened at that time when we're analysing the documents. I think by spacing it out, it could lead to less people hearing about it or finding it, but it is what it is, okay? The videos are there. If people watch them, they watch them, and if they don't, then not much one can do about it. But yeah, an overview for today. A bit of a informal summary from a Montello local, but then a more formal description regarding some bits and bobs of a certain crime committed or so, right? I just wanted to present to you the informal summary today, just because it summarises what to expect when it comes to Bibbins. Okay, there might be some people out there that already know things about Bibbins or heard it from elsewhere, but you know, you try researching it now, maybe at least on the YouTube platform. Are those videos there now? Maybe not. They've been taken down, deleted, removed, who knows? But at least here, it can be covered. And I think the only other important thing to spread awareness on, just because the way YouTube is with the stupid guidelines, I don't know if anybody knows, but recently YouTube said that breastfeeding is allowed and twerking your backside on camera is perfectly fine, but uploading a video on a missing person case, you get restricted, limited, and punished. What next? Are YouTube going to start promoting OnlyFans as well? It's pathetic. It really is pathetic. You're supposed to take YouTube guidelines seriously. You know, I do a whip video, it's okay. I do a whip video another day. Oh, it's, you know, you're not allowed to do a whipping video. Why not? You know, it's just a tripod in front of me. I'm holding a belt. It could mean anything. But oh, it's okay to take your top off and get your fucking knockers out and breastfeed and shake the rear end on camera. Oh, that's not like inappropriate or anything. What a load of bollocks that is. You know what I'm saying? It's such a joke. But that aside, I'm going to keep on going, keep on covering regardless of how I'm treated, because I know YouTube poorly treats me at times, but as well, other people too. Other people in the Dylan Rounds community, certain creators have reached out and said to me that they've been poorly treated by YouTube. Yeah, it's not right. But where should we start first? Well, disclaimer, acknowledgement. I think people tend to do this to counter the YouTube BS. The disclaimer, viewer discretion is advised. Maybe some of the details talked about today could be of a sensitive matter or topic subject, right? It might go into more detail in the future videos, right, when it comes to certain things done by Bibbins, but just one of those disclaimers. This is for, educational purposes only, to learn and study about what's been done, to understand the dangers and the damage caused by an individual, and that is it. Okay, said my little script. Hopefully YouTube is happy now. But yeah, what the aim of looking at this, in case you're wondering, we kicked it off with Bibbins getting arrested in recent time. Then I made a very important video which was heavily underappreciated by YouTube because the reach was not successful. That's not my problem then. It was an important link between how Brenner got in trouble and was arrested, unrelated charges, but from being taken into custody, Webber County Jail, then over time it triggered and coincided with evidence stacking against Brenner, in which then Brenner was charged for the murder and desecration of Dylan Rounds, okay? So I was saying, could the same happen with Bibbins? Bibbins, more so recent time, finally gets in trouble, then could he be questioned or interrogated to do with the Dylan Rounds case? Could there be any evidence along the way which then ties to Bibbins too, just like how it did with Brenner? As said, the latest DNA evidence that was found a few months ago now, still unconfirmed as to who it belongs to. So could that be a factor as to why Bibbins also tied up with getting in trouble on an unrelated charge as to Brenner and further questioning down the line? Just an idea, it's just a concept based on previous patterns, okay? So by acknowledging that, I might as well acknowledge Bibbins' past criminal history, just like how I did with Brenner. And the importance of that is just basically to see how much of a danger are they and who are they a danger to? A certain gender, a certain age, or Is it just in general, all around, no specific target, so anyone could have been impacted, right? I know people will say that one's criminal past, one's criminal history is their past. It shouldn't define them for the future, blah, 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 get the violin out, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just one of those things where you could become a good person, you could become more innocent than before, but you will be targeted and maybe questioned, first of all, because you do have a past, and it's just out of just being, cautious, right? It's kind of like common sense. Especially in this case when there's only a limited pool of people in the area, and you look at them, well, who's the closest to Dylan? Who lives the closest to Dylan? Who may have seen the most? Who's also got a criminal history? Could it be linked to this type of outcome of what happened to Dylan, right? It's like with Dylan, if Dylan was shot, murdered, and then you look at Brenner and his past criminal history of malicious wounding, shooting a person at a workplace, and then threatening behaviour other times with firearms, and his girlfriend at one point. That seems to follow a certain pattern and behaviour as to could be applied to Dylan. And then like with the future evidence down the line, as we saw with the gun, cleaning the gun, blood on him in that footage, etc. Can we apply the same to Bibbins? Maybe by the end of this little series, you can come to a better conclusion. As I said, these are like the foundations and the introduction to it all. And the only way I can explain it clearly is if I break it down bit by bit, as I am doing now. It's just how I am. It's how it works. So there's just do it this way, right? So we don't need to look at comments. We can get right into it now. In terms of the order of how we do things, I'm going to present to you the informal summary of what Bibbins has done over time and the trouble he's got into and caused. And then we can look at some the odd official document, okay? And then, if possible, try and put it into perspective to Brenner. As I said, maybe the comparison between Brenner and Bibbins and giving you my true thoughts may occur at the end of this little series, because then by then we'd have had a bigger picture of everything, okay? But I can still do a bit of a summary today based off the informal summary, okay? Now, some people may say, informal summary. Well, how are we supposed to believe this person, saying that Bibbins did this and that? Well, of course, if you're patient, time will tell, and you'll probably see it in the court documents when we get through bit by bit. But this person, credit to them, Montello local, a person that knows Bibbins and his past history. This person, the Montello local, who provided the links to these official court documents. They've already seen it over time, way back in the past. They've read it, okay? And they've basically done a bit of a summary, or some form of summary, to put into perspective for today. And then we can get into it deeper with the court documents down the line, okay? So this person, credit to them for what they've done. And as I said, they've known Bibbins, they've been around Bibbins, so they've got an idea of, what he's like, okay? So just take that into consideration. And yeah, let's just get into this summary and see how bad it really is. So here we are with the brief little summary. The Montello local says, in the late 70s, Bibbins got involved with attempted murder in California, numerous assault charges, and his most recent prison sentence in Arizona a few years ago was he went after his neighbour with a knife because the neighbour closed a cupboard door too loud. I think he was in Arizona prison about 7 years for that. He has only been out for maybe 4 years. I can do some research and get more accurate dates and charges. He is supposed to be a registered sex offender for the California charges, and I think that slipped through the cracks after his last time in prison. So there's a range of different stuff going on here, right, over the course of time and the amount of time he's spent in prison for. Now, you may have heard me whisper certain words. That's just because I don't know if YouTube are very sensitive towards stuff. So like the first bit, attempted, inappropriate physical behaviour towards another person. Attempted murder in California as well. That's the most serious one in terms of how it can apply to the Dylan Rounds case, right? Because we're looking at a murder case of Dylan Rounds. So someone like Bibbins has been known to try to murder somebody in the past. He could have done it this time to Dylan, right? Just to put into perspective, that's all. Numerous assault charges, right? So that's like a comparison to Brenner, because Brenner has got involved with assault charges, that aggravated assault in 2021, and maybe the odd other fight before that. Do you know what? I don't know if it does link. It might make more sense. It could come up when we look at the other documents down the line. But what I want to point out is that at one point, Bibbins did get into a fight with Brenner. Brenner did punch Bibbins on the jaw. Does that follow under what's mentioned here about assault charges or not? Could that have been just an informal, unrecorded event, I wonder? Just out of interest, because it will be interesting to see if we do look through some of the court documents, if any other people's names are mentioned, which we've heard in the Dylan Rounds case, right? So we've got a range of stuff there. The next bit about he went after his neighbour with a knife because the neighbour closed a cupboard door too loud. Now, how close was that neighbour, I wonder? And if somebody can react so badly to such a small thing, you know, it's kind of like a snap moment, isn't it? You know, all that focus on James Brenner snapping, right? The possibilities that if Dylan Rounds was coming on down to the Grainshed property and it startled Brenner because of a loud noise or a bang sound, or if it was true that Dylan did reverse back into the horse gate near the Grainshed and it broke, it startled Brenner, the loud noise, it triggered him, it angered him, he snapped and retaliated. If that really did happen on that condition, okay? If Bibbins is the same way as we see here, he reacted very badly to such a minuscule thing. Well, could that be applied to the Dylan Rounds case in some way? As said, we look at these bits and bobs now, and when we do the map analysis in the future, it might make more sense, okay, as for location. So just take that into mind. Anything else? Only been out for 4 years. His supposed registered S offender. Okay, does that remind me of anybody? Is it Troy Wadsworth, maybe? Unrelated to Dylan Rounds' case there, but just dodgy stuff going on, right? But it does say that for the California charges, possibly slipped through the cracks. That's not looking too good, is it? Slipping through the cracks, possibly getting away with the odd things. You know, some people have slipped through the cracks. You know, what else have they done which hasn't been recorded or noticed? So you got a range of physical inappropriate behavior and physical violence and maybe a snap mentality. You know, Candice Cooley likes to focus on Brenner snapping, but what about Bibbins? Bibbins seems just as capable, if not possibly worse. Right, so here we are with one of the official documents of research to do with Bibbins. I know it's impossible to read. I'm going to zoom in, don't worry. Hopefully that's clear enough. It actually does appear to fit on the screen completely. So it's inmate data search dot Arizona corrections dot government. Okay, so the Arizona one. So I guess this is to do with the summary presented by that Montello local of where he spent that time in Arizona. So on the left-hand side, you see the photo of Bibbins. Once again, that is another mugshot of him, but that is in the past, so he will appear younger there compared to the recent mugshot. But one thing that has remained consistent is short hair, long, bushy beard. Right, so he hasn't really changed too much, right, besides his age. So we're just going to read it all out so you can put it into perspective. And you know why it's important to read out some of these details, the height, the weight, you know, appearance, whatever. Because take in mind, when it came to the Dylan Rounds case, even something like Dylan Rounds' truck, his pickup truck, the seat being adjusted to fit a certain height, weight requirement if you were to drive the vehicle, does it match up to these descriptions here? We applied it to Brenner, we applied it to Candice Cooley as well, how it compares or contrasts. So just take in mind every little detail mentioned here, and if you pick up on anything that rings a bell or could apply to the Dylan Rounds case somehow, let me know down below in the comment section, okay? So, last name Bibbins, first name Kevin, middle initial J, gender male, height 69 inches. Now, I don't know what 69 inches is in terms of centimeters or feet. I can't do the conversion in my brain immediately, but if I type it into the chat or comment section afterwards, I'll be fine. I mean, you'll probably know it, but I can't always do the conversions in my head. Definitely not this type of stuff. Weight, 156. I'd assume 156 pounds, right? Hair colour, brown. Is it? What hair? I mean, it doesn't really look brown. It looks more, what? Blonde? Dark blonde or so. Eye colour, blue. Origin, Caucasian. Custody class, medium moderate. Admission 1st, 29th, 2015. Okay, just let me know any details up there in terms of height or weight. Does it match the description of the Dylan Rounds case? The thing with Dylan Rounds' truck and the seat adjustment. Just let me know your thoughts, if you agree or not. Projected, eligible release date, prison release date, 9th, 23rd, 2019. Release type, suspend. I don't know what it means. Most recent location, complex, ADC Parole Division, Unit ADC Parole Division. Last movement, 9th to 23rd, 2019. Status, inactive. Mailing address is not available. I said, we're just going to read it all because I don't know if it's of people's interest, but I just feel like reading it. Earned credit release date is provided for guidance. Confirmation can be sought by contacting ADCRR. It is important to note that all release dates are projected and are subject to change. Confirm with ADCRR time computation unit or the offender information unit where the inmate is housed for potential changes. If you're a victim of crime, please call or email the Office of Victim Services for assistance with your victim rights or concerns. Details of inmate offences can be accessed by reviewing the case file at the offence, the clerk, the court. The case was adjudicated. Okay. So that's it for that. Now, below, what do we have? Commitment and sentence information. A01, sentence length. Sentence, County Mojave. Cause, offence date. So the date of the offence took place both on the same days. 6th, 11th, 2014. Sentence date is imposed. Crime, aggravated assault. That was one charge. And disorderly conduct. Both on the same day. So it's a form of physical violence. Fighting someone. Getting into a scrap. And that's the offence date 2014. Okay. 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. So just let me know your thoughts about that. Aggravated assault sounds like a Brenner type of thing, right? Disciplinary infractions, 11 records. The 8th, the 28th, 2018. Threatening or intimidating. Doesn't sound too good, that. Verdict date, 9th to 13th, 2018. Verdict, guilty, major. 8th for the 21st, 2018. Disrespect to the staff, I guess whilst being in prison. 8th for the 27th, 2018. The verdict date. Verdict, guilty, minor. 8th for the 21st, 2018. Violate grooming requirement. Does that say requirements? Shortened for that. The 8th for the 27th, 2018. Verdict, guilty. The 7th, 2nd, 2018. Disobey verbal written order. The date, the verdict, 7th to 6th, 2018, found guilty. 5th to 16th, 2018, disobey verbal written order. The verdict date, 5th to the 16th, 2018, found guilty. The 12th of the 8th, 2017, threatening or intimidating behaviour, once again. Verdict date, 12th to the 18th, 2017. It must be done from latest to oldest, found guilty. The 11th to the 15th, 2017, disobey verbal written order. Verdict date, 11th, 28th, 2017, found guilty. 7th of the 26th, 2017, disobey verbal written order. 8th of the 3rd, 2017, verdict date, found guilty. 4th of the 21st, 2015, criminal damage. 5th of the 13th, 2015, guilty. 4th to 16th, 2015, disrupt count or out of place. Verdict date, 4th to 28th, 2015, guilty. 4th of the 10th, 2015, disobey verbal written order. The verdict date being the 4th to 13th, 2015, guilty was the verdict. It's a range of different stuff. So I think some of this is what else time in prison, right? When he's got in trouble, when he's disobeyed something, when he's appeared intimidating towards staff, or inmates or people just around in general, right? So it can happen, right? I mean, I've heard of cases in the UK where someone has committed a crime, small scale, they've been imprisoned, sent to jail. Well, jail, prison, it's the same thing, I think, in the UK, whatever. But yeah, they spent the time there, but they've actually ended up spending longer in prison because they've done more bad things in prison than the initial charge when they were out walking free. And that's by disobeying orders, causing damage, hurting people, and just constantly reoffending within, right? So it can happen. So besides Bibbins and all the bad stuff he's done, there's like sub factors of disciplinary infractions. Disciplinary appeals. Okay, so on the 8th to 29th, 2018, findings upheld, right? As of date, 8th to 30th, 2018. 8th of the 29th, 2018, findings upheld. 8th to 30th, 2018, as of date. 12th of the 29th, 2017, findings upheld. 1st of the 18th, 2018. 6th of the 11th, 2015, findings upheld. 6th of the 24th, 2015. Profile classification, active classification, 7th to 6th, 2017. It's basically all the same thing. Reclassification, custody risk, medium, minimum, medium. Internal risk, moderate, low, moderate, lowest. Internal, I'm not quite sure what that means. What, within, if he spends his time in jail or prison, custody. So the risk of it if he remains, maybe. Right. Parole action, 0 there. Parole placement, 12th of the 21st, 2018, truth in sentencing release. Parole class R, 11th of the 7th, 2018, TR illegible. Parole class O or 0. 12th of the 20th, 2017, reclass admin review. 12th of the 28th, 2017, approved date. 12th of the 20th, 2018, next review. Parole class 0, I think. 12th of the 18th, 2017, disciplinary action. 12th of the 19th, 2017, approved date. Parole class 3. 7th of the 26th, 2017, reclass admin review. 7th of the 26th, 2017. Okay. Well, it's just basically the same old stuff. It depends if you want me to constantly read it out, right? That's why I'm breaking it down, because to imagine if it comes to the other articles and stuff where it's like really, really repetitive in language. But yeah, you see it on screen. Of course, if you want to pause it yourself, you want to have a closer look. It's all there. This is just some of it, take in mind. It's not all. This doesn't summarise everything that was summarised by the Montello local. This is just a portion of it to do with the Arizona situation, to do with that aggravated assault, okay, in 2014. And there's his details there. You want to note them down. And then there's the website if you want to check that out, okay? So it just goes to show that Kevin has got in trouble elsewhere in other states, such as Arizona and maybe elsewhere. Take in mind, same happened with Bibbins, right? No, not Bibbins. The same thing happened with Brenner, right? When it came to Maryland, was it Wisconsin or some other places in between? And now, I guess you call it Lucin, right? Because that's where Brenner was living at the time of the Dylan Rounds situation. So not only do these two individuals have a long, history of getting in trouble, committing crimes, and also reoffending, but they've also done it across different states, spread out. So they're almost as bad as each other. But as I said, the closer we get, maybe the deeper we look with Bibbins, it might put into perspective that one's more dangerous than the other, right? But the fact that they were both in Lucin at the time of the Dylan Rounds situation, it doesn't, you think Dylan, not exactly safe, around those people, is he? So hopefully you were able to take in. Of course, you can always rewind back, pause the video if you need to. As I said, this is just done in parts to break it down bit by bit, and maybe we can do a bit of a summary right at the end. But I think it was worth looking at that summary from the Montello local just to put into perspective and, what to expect for like when we look a bit deeper, okay? So let me know your thoughts. Do you think Bibbins is worse than Brenner, or is Brenner worse than Bibbins, or they're just as bad as one another? And how much do you think Bibbins links and applies to the Dylan Rounds case in general? I mean, you'll always get people that are very dangerous, but I don't mean to say that they do link to a particular case, but they're probably going to be the first people you look at as a person of interest, right? Providing they're within the area or so, right? That's one of the key factors in my opinion. So that's it for now. We'll see what happens next, what video to cover next in the correct order, maybe space it out just to give time to look through it and take it in mind. What's my thoughts at this moment in time? Do I think Bibbins is worse than Brenner? I'd say kind of slightly edges over just because of the amount of trouble he's gotten into, Bibbins, and the several fights and the way it seems to snap easily. It's worth taking into consideration. So thanks for watching. That's it for now. See you next time. Goodbye. Good night.